Okay, so remember it was the last day.
Now that last day I wasn't there. We were doing side events.
Ah, okay, so a group of indigenous people, indigenous leaders and organizations and nations strongly objected to some language that was in one of the reports and recommendations, and they wanted to express that. And the forum, didn't want to hear it because they wanted to follow procedure. And that's what I was talking about. I think that, the day before and even days before, they were always interrupting procedure when it came to a UN official coming in, or a nation state wanted to express something at the last minute, so the schedule had to be changed. So I think that needs to be fair to begin with. But more importantly, I think that the way it was handled was a little fumbled in a certain sense. At one point, UN security came in and tried to forcefully and physically remove some of the people who they felt were being disturbing. And I think that was a huge mistake. We've all been there. We know about that. I don't think violence or the threat of a security force or police force or army is going to change the positions of indigenous people. And luckily, there was someone who had the intellect to stop that and ask the police to leave the room, and actually said there's no one going to be arrested here. And then finally the people were able to speak, and what they spoke about was very important. And I think that the forum needs to be careful and needs to pay attention to what indigenous people are really talking about. Because the indigenous people's position, in my opinion, isn't about money. It isn't about a deal. It isn't about who's going to profit. It's about life and death. That's what's really being discussed there, life and death, for indigenous people. Mm-hmm. And the funny part about it to me is that, everyone's after these resources. Everyone's after the land and resources. It's the same old story. All these conversations, even the conversations about human rights, are about land and resources, and how to get them. And now the big, buzz is, let's get them in the name of the environment. Let's get them in the name of human rights. Let's get them in the name of supporting indigenous peoples. Some of the biggest environmental organizations are brokering deals with governments to remove indigenous peoples from their lands to get the resources all over the world by force, by death, or, scaring them into it, offering them money to leave certain individuals, and in the name of the environment and human rights. So we got to be careful, I think. And I think we need more of that kind of assertion and will if we're going to enter into a time of healing.